Among the recommendations made in the Connecticut Housing and Segregation Study conducted by Urbanomics and released in January of 2024 require compliance with Affirmative Affordable Housing Plan in order to assure that Connecticut has sufficient housing choice for current residents' mobility and to prevent further outmigration of young adult residents. The Plan of Conservation and Development should require compliance with the goals established by the 2023 Connecticut Housing Finance Authority. Housing Needs Assessment and the State Fair Share Housing Plan out for bid as of December 2023, if adopted. At an Affordable Housing Roundtable presentation of these findings on March 13, 2024, Francis Pickering, Executive Director of the Western Connecticut Council of Governments, pokes holes in fair share, and Tina Lund, a principal at consulting firm Urbanomics, clarifies.
Regarding fair share and how it may interplay or not interplay with the discussions about other recommendations and discussion about redlining. So several years ago, when fair share was first proposed in Connecticut, at Westcog, we objected to it because it would have the impact of redlining the cities in Connecticut, bringing back redlining. It would deny funding for housing construction or rehabilitation to the state central cities. And we were very concerned about bringing back a policy that we now widely regard as racist. And the most recent iteration of fair share, again, has allocations of 0 for central cities in Connecticut. So I don't know how you can square a recommendation for fair share housing allocations with a critique of past redlining practices. I see too much similarity between them.
Fair share versus redlining? Nothing about fair share, in my perspective, prohibits the creation of subsidized housing in areas that already have high levels of affordable housing. It's just a way to make sure that affordable housing is available throughout the state. But again, that's up to your process and your political process. This is strictly based on our recommendations.
So I guess one point of clarification I may just follow up very briefly is when you say fair share housing allocations, is that a reference to the concept of fair share or to the specific language that is currently in state law and that has been floated by advocates?
It is the concept of fair share.
Thank you.
Sure.
If Urbanomics' recommendation is on the concept of fair share and not based on the methodology that was pushed by housing advocates and passed in 2023's Fair Share, Phase 1, why are legislators adding specific language referring to that unworkable allocation methodology in this year's zoning bill HB 5336, which ties the hands of the Connecticut Housing Finance Authority and can lead to misallocations of coveted low-income housing tax credits to areas where there is little to no demand? Mandini Natarajan, Chief Executive Officer at Connecticut Housing Finance Authority, reflects on Francis Pickering's comments and adds a practical financial reality and an intimate knowledge of federal housing programs from both housing and urban development and the United States Treasury.
You know, as Francis was saying, and others have said before, it's very, very challenging to get development done in areas of higher opportunity. So I just say that because, you know, points are one thing, but they don't always achieve the policy goals that the state may have. It also takes years for development to make it from concept all the way to, you know, where they're actually submitting an application for low-income housing tax credit. So many issues along the way. In terms of the qualified allocation plan, you know, it is a federal program. It is, you know, it is run primarily through the U.S. Treasury Department. So it's not HUD, as the report actually has specified. You know, what I would agree with the prior commentators that talked a little bit about some of the issues around developing affordable housing throughout the state. What I would like to add really is that because it's a federal program, it comes with a set of requirements around public input. And it requires, a significant amount of public sort of getting that comment, getting that input is an important part of the process of developing the qualified allocation plan, which by legislating would, could have the impact of weakening that process. So that would be one comment I have on the report and its recommendation. In terms of the actual recommendation to use to implement fair share in the qualified allocation plan, what we've found is that currently in our location prioritization uses the Connecticut Opportunity Map, which essentially creates incentives for development in communities where there's access to education, employment, low poverty, et cetera. And I think primarily I just wanted to make a comment about the fact that it's a complicated document. It encapsulates a lot of the state's policy goals with respect to housing, and that legislating it may in fact weaken the ability of the state to look at all different aspects of its impact on various constituencies and make the most appropriate decision as to the best path forward. So thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
To stay abreast of housing, zoning, and 8-30G bills in Hartford, please visit our website at ct169strong.org. A link is provided in the description to this video. Please support our efforts on behalf of your neighborhood and to preserve local control of zoning. Thank you.